is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
Hey guys, it's Gary with GMG Customs. Today I'm going to show you the forklift pallet grapple. I got one of these and I'm just mocking it up to fit it. So put my coffee down. It's going to come with all these pieces. So you got the cylinder with the hose, and then it goes off to the bigger tractor connections, if you can see right here. I'm going to adapt it to fit on my third function over here. So I've got two old snowblower lines that I don't need. I think I'm going to take those and put them on there because, as you can see, there's a lot of slack there. So I might take those up to Napa, have them cut down a little bit just to fit better into the third function. But basically you get the ram, the hoses, I call it the clamp, and then the mounting bar. And so I started a little prep work here. When I called John Deere, they make a PG12, which is the bigger one. And the reason I got the bigger one is because, number one, the dealer I called had it. And number two, it's got a little bit longer of a throw, and I've got 42-inch forks. So this is going to work perfect, I think. I started to mock this up. John Deere said it was specific to theirs. This is a Titan forklift support. And all I had to do was, there was some manufacturing welds where you hook this up, you put it on just like a fork, but right in here where it connects to these grooves, there was some welds in here. So I had to grind them down a little bit, and then it hooks up pretty much like that. We'll get a little bit more center. Sits right in there, and after I broke those welds with the grinder, I took the air grinder to it and just grinded a little bit off. It sits in there perfect. And then how it goes in is, you've got this backing plate right here, and it is threaded, and you got 2 bolts, 4 washers, 2 lock nuts, and it's just, I think, added security. But this will go on the back side. Back here, you'll run the bolts in. They're 19 millimeter, by the way. Or if you don't have metric, just put whatever's standard. Anyway, that's a threaded plate. So right now I'm threading into the plate. I probably should have threw some anti-seize on there. Now, when these dealers order these things, what I'm told is they have to order them 2. There's 2 on a pallet. So if they're ordering 1 for a customer, John Deere makes them buy 2. So I just got lucky enough that my John Deere dealer, where I bought my tractor in Wisconsin, called him up, was telling him I was thinking about this, and he's like, I got one. So this one was out in the field for quite a while. And I'm just going to zap this on real quick. It's going to get a little loud. That's in. And then you'll just put these on the back side. And I think these are just more of security. That bracket is holding it really tight against there. And this is, like I said, it's a Titan carriage. So the fact that it won't fit on anything but John Deere just simply isn't true. And then I'm just going to go on the back side. Since that's a threaded bolt, I'm just going to hold it with the wrench in the front, give it a zap. Anyway, that's a little stuck. I'll get that off, and then I'll tighten the other side, and then I'll explain a little bit more to you. Okay, guys, with the invention of movie magic, I got the socket off. It was really simple. So that's mounted on there. The plate's on there. The bolts are secure. The backing plate's on. The washers and nylon locks are on there. So then you get to this piece, and you just pull this pin off it, and this slides off. Let's see if I can drop it on the ground. I probably will. Anyway, this sucker, this thing isn't light either, guys. So anyway, I'll put it over here. Squash my fingers. A bunch of stuff going on. See if this is 2-man job or a 1-man job. So you're going to put it in place, and then you can see there's a square out on this, so obviously it's going to get a better hold on it here. I apologize, Mike. Yeah, this might be a 2-man gig. We're going to get her, though. So, I got to spin this around a little bit. I put some WD-40 in there, just because this has been sitting in the woods for God knows how. I think it's 2 years old. All right, I got to go get a hammer. Be right back. All right, guys, we're back again. Just a little mallet. Okay, bottom's out right there. Once that pin's in, you're just going to take, actually this, and you're going to clip it right here. And that's pretty much it for the jaw. Now we got to hook up the ram. So it's just pins, guys, a lot of pins. These forks come in pretty handy for a table. And goes in one way. So this one's going right there. And then of course you got to spin it to get the line up for this thing. Then we're going to clip it right there. And then of course this, you know, I'm not going to move that by hand. So I'm going to take the caps off and the cylinders and then stretch it real quick. All right, guys, I'm going to let the pressure off this cylinder. Looks like it's not a 19, but the bottom one is. So we're going to loosen these up, see if we can't get it in there real quick. We're going to take this pin off right here, slide it out, and of course I'm greasing this as we go. You guys don't see it all, but I just took one of the hoses off so I can get this in there. I think I'm going to have to lift it and pull at the same time. So let's just make a makeshift here. My fancy holder. Let's see if we can get this in. Okay, it's lined up. Oop. There we go. And then we're going to turn it so we can see the hole. That's in. And we're going to go like that. And then I'm going to let this down. Yep. Okay, so when you got it like this far, I'm going to change the hoses. So I'm going to bring it all the way up. And there's this pin right here that goes through here. And that locks it when you're not using it. So that's in. And then there's a clip that holds that up. So when you're not using the forks, that can lock it in place. Otherwise, you got to pull stuff to get it completely off, or the bracket. But I'm going to leave it on. So what we had was we had some tree cleanup about a month or so ago, and I piled all the branches on the ground, and I just used the forks to scoop underneath and lifted them up and was going to take them in the woods. And it handles it no problem because it's a, you know, a forklift, but the load was kind of uneven. So that's why I got this. I thought, well, if I have this hooked up all the time, I wouldn't have to switch over to a grapple for small chores like that. So next thing you'll see, I'm going to go to Napa, get these hoses straightened out, and then hook it to the third function. But you can see it fits on the Titan, no problem. And the PG11 is a little smaller, but not significant much weight difference. I think this weighs like 55 pounds, right around there. So the next thing you'll see is after I get the lines on, hooked to the third function, and then this is done. Okay guys, it's the next day. I had to fast forward. I had to order 2 fittings from Napa. I switched from the style that was on here, that was the bigger connectors, to the size that's on the John Deere on the front third function there. So these are hooked up. I had to go with the old hoses, and then we're just gonna hook these up in here. You guys know how to do this. And then we're gonna hook this one up in here, and then we can zip tie this. Get a couple of these. They got them at Menards too. They're nice because you wrap them and you don't need a zip tie. You kind of put it where you want it and you give it a twist, and then it's easy to hook and unhook later. They're just really handy. They're reusable a bunch of times. I ended up using the old hoses. I needed more slack and they were thinner than the snowblowers. So they go in, obviously, then they get buckled down here, and then they go into there. It has 3 grease zerks on here. So we're just gonna grease 2 of them real quick. The front one. The top one. We got the lock and loop fitting and the Milwaukee greaser. And then there's one right here. If you can get over here. There's a total of 3 on there. She's all greased up now, ready to rock. Put this away. Let's fire it up. So I did take some white lithium grease and I just wiped this down, got her a little slick. This thing was in the field for a while, so let's start her up, see how she goes. Gonna work good. And then, like I said, when you're not using it, you just put this pin in. This will hold it up in place. If you're not going to hold it up in place and you're using it, you put the pin in the second one and then put the clip on. But I'm not going to use it right now, so I'm going to put that in there. And obviously you don't want to go up and down with that pin in there. But that is it. This is the PG12. Like I said, the other one's a PG11, a little smaller. It adds about 55 pounds. But you can take it on and off pretty quick. If you got your electric impact, it's just these 2 bolts, lift up, disconnect, and put it to the side. And then to put it on is the 2 bolts back on and then the line. So it's real quick. If you don't have a grapple and you're thinking, I just want to spend a couple bucks, not 2,500, might be the way to go with it. You got the forks with it also. So that is it for the PG12. Thanks, guys.